Alright, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Spider, and in this video we're going to be basically breaking down my experience in the SPS Open, the third installment of it. So basically the way this is going to work is I'm going to describe the tournament and try to explain it to the best of my ability. And then we're going to go through my team, like the Pokemon I drafted, and then each of the battles. So it's a pretty long video, obviously, you can tell, and I wouldn't be uploading this if I didn't get very far, at least. That should be obvious. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the SPS Open is basically a big tournament. It's got 256 participants this time. I participated in the first SPS Open, but I didn't do this. I wasn't in the second one. I think just because I wasn't playing Pokemon at that point, or at least in that off season. I've been in the SPS since for 5 seasons now. So, I've been, involved on and off pretty much. But I think the first one, I didn't get past the first stage of the tournament, which again I'll have to explain because there are a few stages. I kind of break it down on my own, I guess. So, yeah, the first stage basically is the drafting, right? So you pick basically there's 256 people. You put them into 16 different pools. So I believe I was pool 13. It really doesn't matter what pool you are. It's just each pool does their own draft. So basically 16 pools of 16 players each. I believe I don't even remember what pick I was. I was towards the beginning because I got a pretty early strong Pokemon. So but yeah, so then once everyone's drafted, the battle pools are randomized. So there's 64 battle pools, and you battle everyone in your pool. So 64 times 4 would be 256. So that's how everyone is organized in the battle pools. You battle everyone in your pool, and then the top two from each pool move on to a a single elimination tournament, pretty much, of 128 people. Once you get down to I think it's 32 people in the tournament, you have a double elimination, so you can lose once and still be in the tournament. And then once you lose twice, you're out. So, but you got to get to the top 32 at that point first to get that opportunity. So yeah, basically, okay. Now I'm just gonna break down our draft because that's about as thoroughly as I can explain that without going too in depth. So, like I said, we were pool 13, and trying to find. Okay, so the first Pokemon I picked up. Oh, by the way, you can only draft 8 Pokemon. I think it is. I know it's 8, but I think it's with 90 points, and it's just the standard stuff. I mean, no Libero, Cinderace, no Protean Greninja, no Speedboost Blaziken. It's pretty standard stuff. It's not like Ubers, So yeah. Anyway, you get 8 Pokemon, and you have to draft 8. You can't go any more, any less, just to kind of even it out, just to standardize it, which I think works for a tournament this big. So anyway, let's see. The first Pokemon I picked up was Mega Gallade. I haven't used this thing in a while. I wanted to try it out again. I don't really know what was taken. The draft was a while ago, so I don't really know what was taken and what wasn't at this point. But I wanted to draft this because I feel like in a tournament with only 8, when everyone only gets 8 Pokemon, it's really, Mega Gallade is really powerful because if you get one Swords Dance up, you might just be able to sweep teams. I'm probably going to go against at least one Pokemon from every team that's faster than 110. But I've got really good natural special bulk, and I can invest in HP. I can power creep because this is a really strong attack stat, and at +2 I probably don't really need to be max attack in most cases. But yeah, we also have a bunch of support moves. We get Thunder Wave, we get Will-O-Wisp, we get Wish. We get Memento, we get Knockoff, I guess is technically a support move. We get Disable, Encore, Destiny Bond. We get a bunch of weird moves with this thing that I don't know could do something for us at some point. And yeah, we have a good thing about Gallade that you don't see with Mega Medicham is good coverage for like Psychic types, so you get knock off. You also get Shadow Sneak, which is a cool form of priority there. You can taunt, you can even teleport. So this thing's got obviously a lot of moves, and it can play around with a lot of different things. So, but mainly it's going to be either bulking up or swords dancing, and just trying to break through things with either Drain Punch or just close combat. So that is Mega Gallade. Next up, I got Volcarona. I've used Volcarona in the past, and I've enjoyed it every single time. I'm just going to spoil this because I think it's just kind of funny that I brought this to every single game, and every single game it was either Heavy Duty Boots or Lumberry, and it was always Quiver Dance. So it's not very versatile. You basically know what it's doing every time. It could run support sets, but it's just not very good at that in my opinion. Like Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn, Roost, Defog, like you could do some things with it. It's just that the Quiver Dance set is almost always just the best option, because it's got crazy special attack, pretty good speed, and when you're at +1, I mean nothing's really outspeeding you unless they're scarfed, and really good special defense with a decent HP stat. So once you get a Quiver Dance up, not many things are killing you on the special side. Obviously, it's got not very good physical bulk, but we can make up with that with the rest of the team. I also get Hurricane, which is pretty cool. Giga Drain to hit bulky waters to get some health back. I could also Roost if I need to, and then what is it? Okay, Fire Dance. Yeah, that's like its signature move. 50% chance to raise this user's special attack by 1, which is really good for a Pokemon like this, obviously. So yeah, that is the Volcarona. Next up is Gliscor. I'm trying to speed through this because it's gonna be a long video no matter what, so I want to try to cut down the time as much as possible. But yeah, Gliscor, physically defensive usually. Toxic or Poison Heal is really good. I'm just using things that I've used pretty well in the past, and Gliscor has been pretty good for me in the past. It's also a defogger, which is nice. I can get rid of rocks that way. Yeah, I can Stealth Rock on my own. I get a pretty fast, pretty quick taunt user. I can knock off things. I could U-turn. I could also double dance if I really want to. I could like Swords Dance Agility kind of thing with like Edge Quake. So that's fun, and I get decent coverage. Aqua Tail, Brick Break, all the fangs. Wait, do I not get Thunder Fang? Okay, I do. Okay, that's weird. Fire Fang and Ice Fang are like here, and then Thunder Fang is down here. Whatever. Okay. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the Gliscor. Next up, I got Registeel. I think Registeel is pretty good. It basically just stops a lot of things in their tracks. With maybe like a Shucca Berry or a Chople Berry, that could be good. But it's usually just going to be leftovers. It gets Stealth Rocks, it gets Thunder Wave. Okay, that's not how you spell Thunder Wave. It gets like an Iron Defense plus Body Press set. I remember using a few times in this tournament, and it never really swept anything, but it was kind of annoying for opponents at times. I can also Toxic, obviously. So this is just a good bulky steel that I can rely on for a lot of things. Also the niche Explosion if I need that. So yeah, next up is Blissey. I should have made a box for this. Alright, hold on. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I just wanted to make a box. Got a box real quick. I'm voice cracking all over the place. So I got Blissey too. Obviously the fighting weakness is a problem, but I do have 3 resistances already. So I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Blissey's really good because it basically like blanket checks any special Pokemon. Obviously Psyshock is a problem if something sets up like a Calm Mind or an Acid Plot plus Psyshock. That's a little bit of an issue, but those sorts of Pokemon usually aren't well equipped to kind of deal with maybe like a Seismic Toss. Like if I'm going against like an Alakazam, for example, I can Seismic Toss it, I can Toxic things. I obviously have Soft Wood. I also have Wish. Passing huge ass wishes is really good because this is a huge HP stat, obviously. So anything basically here is going to get healed all the way up to full no matter where they're at with a Wish pass. Thing is, I usually have to run Protect if I'm running Wish on Blissey, and then it kind of limits my other options because Teleport is also a very powerful move on this Pokemon. It's negative priority, I can just switch it in, pivot in on most attackers, and just teleport out the next turn. I don't have like Regenerator, but again, it's fine because Natural Cure is actually really good with this Pokemon. I can't really get Toxic stalled because I can just switch. And what's a non-volatile? I don't know what that means. I guess confusion. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, Natural Cure is really good, and you never know when I pop out the Power Up Punch Blissey. You know what I mean? No? Okay, that's fine. Another T-Waver for speed control, another Stealth Rocker, so yeah, just all-around really good bulky pivot, but very passive. Very, very passive, so we gotta watch out for that. Next up is Blastoise. I wanted a good Rapid Spinner, and it's also a bulky water. Also has the option to Shell Smash, which I honestly forgot a few times. Like, I didn't really remember that I could just White Herb Shell Smash during this tournament. I think I used it like once, so but yeah, gives me a Rapid Turner, like I said. Flip Turner, so another kind of U-turn / whatever. Another momentum user, I suppose. Where is it? There it is. Decent stats all across the board. Nothing too crazy. Just gives me a good mid-tier spinner and potential sweeper. So good coverage as well. Aura Sphere, Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam, Iron Tail, I guess, maybe. Scald, Zen Headbutt for something, I guess. Potentially Yawn. So, yeah, Blastoise is Blastoise. Not much to say there. So I had 13 points left for 2 Pokemon, which are basically just role fitters at this point. They will do something if they have a good matchup. If I can have them, fit them on a team to do something very niche, I'll do it. But usually, they're just gonna sit on the bench, if I'm being honest. But I did end up bringing both of these at least 2 times, I think, a piece, 2 times a piece. So first up, I got Sneasel. I wanted something a little faster than Mega Gallade, and I think Weavile is really good. So I think Sneasel for 6 points is obviously not as good, but it's still, it could be a sleeper mon. I do get Swords Dance with this. I do get Knockoff plus Triple Axle, which is just, I think, a deadly stab combination. Also priority with Ice Shard. I can hit like bulky fighting types with Aerial Ace. I could throat chop things. I could taunt things. So Sneasel is definitely a potential in a few matchups for sure. Boots is possible, but I don't know. I think I'd usually just go like either Life Orb, Band, or Focus Sash because this thing's so damn frail that having Boots there isn't really gonna do much for me. But yeah, that is the Sneasel. Last but not least, I got Excelgor. I wanted something even faster, but mainly I wanted something that could Spikes and T-Spikes, which is what Excelgor provides. I can also Final Gambit things, which is really cool. So if I go max HP and nothing, I'm against something really bulky, but it doesn't have a lot of HP, maybe I could just knock it out with a Final Gambit, which is really cool. Aspect of this, I could also do, I've seen Throat Spray Unburdened sets a few times. What is it? Like with the Bug Buzz, it's a sound move technically, so it counts for it activates the Throat Spray and then Unburden. Not that I need speed, but if I do have that, it doubles my speed. Nothing's outspeeding me, even with no speed investment, so I can just do that kind of thing. And I get Focus Blast for bulky steals. I get Sludge Bomb for fairies. I get Giga Drain for bulky waters to get my health back as well. Knock off. I was combining Sticky Hold and Knock Off. So if I get knocked off, I get Knock Off as a move, but if I get knocked off myself, I can have the Sticky Hold there to make sure that doesn't get actually knocked off. So also a U-turn or Water Shuriken, which is really weird that it gets that, but I mean not really because it's kind of supposed to be a ninja, I guess. So yeah, can do a few different things and is very fast. So yeah, kind of like a niche Pokemon if I need to use that. So that's the draft, and so now I'm going to go into my battles, and yeah, I guess I'll skip right to the alright, so here we are with the first battle, going up against Archon, or Arcaniste. You can see his team on the screen, obviously. The 2 Pokemon he did not bring were just his bottom 2, Galvantula and Type Null. I was kind of scared about Webs, but he didn't end up bringing it, which is fine. Only notable things here. I mean, we had to bring Fizdef Blastoise for the Weavile. We are just typical SD, Gallade, QD, Volcarona. We have Taunt on Gliscor, another pretty standard Blissey, and then we have like a Spike's Final Gambit Excelgor, because his only hazard removal is going to be that Defog Altaria or the Defog Corviknight. He's also Mega Altaria, so that's worth mentioning. So I'm going to go ahead and play this battle. I lead with Gliscor, expecting probably a Hazard's lead Deoxys, and I do taunt him here. Obviously, he could have knocked off there, which would have sucked because I had a Toxic Orb, but he didn't end up doing that. So I'm going to Rocks here, and then I taunt this in case he wants to defog. He kind of predicts that and goes for U-turn, or he just wanted to get out of there. That works too. But he goes into Milotic and activates the Flame Orb. So I'm going to protect here because he's not really going to do anything but attack. So I'm going to go into Blissey. I just wanted to see what he was going to do there. He clicks Toxic, probably expecting the Blastoise. As I just go into Blissey, that's fine. I can teleport as he recovers. That's whatever. I'm going to go into Excelgor here and get a Spike Up because that's pretty easy for me. He goes into Deoxys, and I'm just going to hit the Final Gambit and knock it out. So Excelgor gets a kill there, and I'm going to have 2 layers of hazards up here. Now I predict that pretty well. I knew he was going to try to defog with the Corviknight, so I go into Volcarona and QD on his switch. This is a really good Altaria set against me, as he clicks Haze, and he is now at 51%, but he can just roost here, so that's a little annoying. I go into Blissey here, knowing that if he is a Haze set, he's probably not like physical, so I'm going to teleport as he brings in Corviknight. Volcarona comes back out. I'm going to double into Gallade, expecting the Altaria to come out, which is exactly what happens, as I can just triple Axle now. Or wait, do I? Or do I click? Okay, so I have Poison Jab instead of triple Axle, my bad. If I had triple Axle there, that would have been much better. It probably would have put him in range of the close combat, but I believe yeah, he's Rocky Helmet, so that would have heavily damaged my Gallade anyway. So I Swords Dance on the predicted defog, and I knock him out, which is fine. He goes into Weavile as I Shadow Claw, or I go into Blastoise as he Shadow Claws, and then I Toxic, hopefully, trying to get the Altaria switch in, but he brings in Milotic, which is fine because I can just bring in Blissey again. He probably doesn't have Flip Turn at this point. Scald, Toxic Recover. I mean, I would expect a Flip Turn, but he hasn't used it yet, so I'm assuming he doesn't. Here I go into Gallade. I think that was a misclick, or maybe just a misplay. I don't know what I was expecting there. Maybe I thought I could live a Shadow Claw, and then I calced and I couldn't. But I do Dragon Tail on the Weavile, expecting the switch, and I get a Nidoking. I get him in with the Nidoking, so I'm able to go into Blissey here. I can teleport, but he gets the Toxic Spike up, which is really annoying. I go into Gliscor hoping he doesn't have Ice Beam, but he does. So, that's just how it works, I guess. I don't know if my Gallade didn't have Zen Headbutt or something. I don't know why I didn't bring it in here on the Nidoking, because I don't know. I guess I didn't have anything to hit the Nidoking with. Maybe I had Sub instead of Zen Headbutt. I don't know. But even then I could have Swords Danced, because he wouldn't know that at that point. So anyway, at this point he pretty much just wins with the core he has here. I can't really touch this GG or this Altaria, and I say GG there because it's really kind of over at this point. I'm trying to maybe get a crit or something. If I brought Toxic on this Volcarona, we might have had a chance, but at this point Weavile kind of wins. So that's unfortunate. So yeah, he's just gonna Haze. Here I bring in Gallade, expecting a Roost. I Poison Jab, it's not enough to knock him out. He's gonna knock me out with Hyper Voice. I bring Volcarona as he Roosts, and he's just gonna stall me out here. I bring in Blissey as he brings in the Weavile. I miss the Toxic, doesn't matter. He misses the Triple Axle, knocks me out the next turn. No, never mind. I live that somehow. And he's gonna preserve Differential and bring in Milotic, and that's gonna be it. So I lose 4-0 in the first game, which is really bad because, like I said in the beginning, differential is everything, and losing 4-0 in the first game is pretty rough. But we're gonna try to bounce back in the next one. All right, here we are in the second battle, going up against H. Saj, I guess. He did not bring The two Pokemon he didn't bring is the Thundurus Therian and the Galvantula, so both his electric types. I guess because Quagsire, or I guess because Gliscor's a thing, he didn't want to bother with either of his electric types. Another Galvantula. So, like I said, like you can see multiple of the same Pokemon in your battle pools because your battle pools are randomized and irrespective of your drafting pools. So that's how that goes. So yeah, anything about this team? I know I had the Throat Spray Excelgor because I thought I had tremendous potential in this game. Once I get a few things whittled like the Charizard and the Skarmory, I just kind of bug buzz once and then knock everything out pretty much. Hopefully. Um, I think that's it. I don't think there was anything else pretty crazy about this team, but I guess we'll find out. So I lead with the Blastoise. He's going to lead Charizard. Very aggressive. He's going to DD turn 1, which is always fun. I'm going to go for the Toxic. Luckily, I land it as he Flare Blisses. I don't really know why. Maybe that's his only attacking move. Maybe he's like DD, Roost, Will-O-Wisp, and Flare Blitz. I don't know. But here he goes into the Clefable. I flip turn there because I wasn't expecting him to stay in, and if he does, I'm still fine with that. I go into Gliscor and I taunt as he clicks Ice Beam and knocks me out. So yeah, Gliscor is just getting Ice Beamed all the time, so very sad there. I'm going to bring in Volcarona and just QD, because like if he has Ice Beam, I'm not too worried about him running something else. So I go for another one as he brings in Starmie, and he T-Waves me. Now this is kind of unfortunate that I didn't have Lumberry here. I had the boots instead. But I QD again because I know at +3, even with the Para, I'm going to be able to outspeed him because Para is basically -2. So I knock him out with Giga Drain, which is good, but then I get fully paralyzed as Bisharp comes in and knocks me out with a Rock Tomb, which really sucks. I'm going to go into Gallade. Click Close Combat there. I don't think that's normally a 2KO, but I do get a crit, so that kind of makes up for the fully para, because I think at that point I just win with Volcarona if I don't get parried there. So I knock out the Skarmory. He brings in Clefable and Moonblast my Blissey. That's fine. I'm just going to teleport, and as he brings in Bisharp, go straight into the Blastoise. It's unfortunate that I don't have Gliscor at this point, but that's how it works. I mean, everything has ice coverage, so I'm gonna get a Scald Burn on, which is really good. But I mean, if I didn't get that burn, I would have been in Torrent Rage eventually, and at that point 3 Scalds would knock him out. So I don't think it was a huge difference. Maybe for differential, but yeah. I'm gonna bring in Excelgor. That was again a stupid misplay. I mean, I thought I had flip turned into him, but I hard switched into him, and he knocked off my Throat Spray, which really sucks because now I don't get that boost. So he brings in Charizard, and I'm just able to Focus Blast and knock him out, as he shares the Cosmic Power here, which is really crazy because if he lives that Sludge Bomb, I don't know if that was a roll or not, but if he lives that and he heals up, I think I win anyway because I can just PB stall with Blissey because he obviously has to have Soft Boiled, and then he doesn't have Stored Power, he just has Moonblast and Ice Beam. So I think I win that anyway because he's not boosting his special attack, he's just boosting his defenses. So, but I'm at the end, that might be maybe an extra differential, I don't know, but here I'm obviously going to be able to clean up with Excelgor and win 4-0. So now we get a 4-0 loss right into a 4-0 win. So we were 1-1 even differential. And yeah, we're on to the last battle of our pools. Basically, if we win, we're probably in to the next stage, and if we lose, we're obviously out. So I'm sure you can assume by the length of this video what happens, but I'll get into the next battle right here. So yeah. All right, here we are with the third battle, last battle in the pool, the battle pool stage. My opponent brings Keldeo, Mega Scizor, Rotom Heat, Latias, regular Diancie, and Gliscor. So he also has a Gliscor. No Roserade or Absol. Those are the two Pokemon he didn't bring. Not overtly concerned about either of those. I mean, I think it makes sense that he didn't bring either of them. So yeah, that's that. What am I looking at here? I don't know. I mean, did I bring anything special? I mean, Registeel is an obvious bring here. It's nice for Diancie. It's nice for Latias. It's nice for Mega Scizor to an extent, as long as it doesn't set up. So it's a pretty good bring. don't quite remember what Glade. I know it wasn't max speed Glade. I think it was speed creep and Keldeo, but it wasn't max speed, so I couldn't speed tie like a max speed Latias. Hint hint. And then we brought Calm Mind, Choppleberry, Blissey for shenanigans because I realistically don't have anything for Keldeo. If I bring in, I mean, I have the maybe a Fizdef Blastoise, but that probably takes a lot from a Hydro Pump anyway, and everything else just kind of gets bodied by it. So, um, yeah. And if it's Scarfed, it outspeeds a +1 Volcarona as well as my Mega Glade. So, anyway, let's get right back. Let's get right into this one, I guess. I'm going to lead Registeel as he leads Rotom. I'm not really too afraid of this just clicking Overheat turn 1, so I'm going to Stealth Rock up as he Will-O-Wisp, and then he double Will-O-Wisp, so he gets Blissey with the burn. I don't really care because I can just teleport. As he brings in the Alphonse, the Mega Scizor. Oh wait, I don't have teleport, I'm dumb. I have the Calm Mind set. So here I play really terribly with this Blissey. I don't know what I'm doing. I have Flamethrower. I had Hyper Voice, Flamethrower, Calm Mind, Soft Boiled. So I Soft Boiled here as he knocks off my Choppleberry, which sucks, but I realize, hey, I can stall this thing out and get back closer, close to full health. But here he just U-turns. It does half to me, and then he gets in the Keldeo. And now I have to switch because I don't have my Choppleberry. Not that a Hyper Voice would have killed, but it would have done some decent damage. But I bring in Gliscor as the Secret Source, obvious. I pop the Toxic Orb, and I Protect here to see what he wants to do. Also get a little bit of health back. If he Calm Minded there, it would have been a shit spot, but we know he's not Choice because he switched up his moves, and we don't see Leftovers or Life Orb, so I don't really know what its item is. I go into Registeel here. As, you know, I take a, wait. Yeah, I take a little bit of damage there, but I T-Wave on the Gliscor, that doesn't work, and then I bring Glade as, I could sub, and I actually live the U-turn behind the sub, so that's good for me. And a Drain Punch, I think I'm a sub bulk up Drain Punch, or yeah, sub bulk up Drain Punch Glade here, but I'm not going to be able to stay in against this Diancie. I don't really want to try to take a Moonblast there. So he goes for the Earth Power, good play on his part, gets a little bit more chip on Registeel, as now he's going to bring in the Gliscor. I'm going to Seismic Toss, predicting probably a switch. Gliscor's an easy switch for him, as now I bring in my own Gliscor, as he EQs. That's fine. I think I went negative speed on this Gliscor so I could be a slower U-turn than him, so like if he U-turns against me, he'll use it first, he'll bring in something, and then I can U-turn and get the switch initiative there. So he knocks off my Toxic Orb, I don't really care. I bring Glade again, and I'm going to triple Axle, expecting maybe the Diancie, maybe the Latias, hopefully, but that doesn't happen. As he's now going to Moonblast. Maybe he thought I was going to risk it for the Biscuit and go for the Drain Punch, but it wasn't really worth it at that point. I'm going to Seismic Toss. I do outspeed this. I think I put a little bit of speed in this. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was a speed tie. Yeah, it was a speed tie. I'm dumb. I don't know why I didn't put any speed into this Registeel, because then I could have not taken that Earth Power damage. But he gets up the rocks pretty smartly, in my opinion, because yeah, now he wasn't gonna. I mean, he could have knocked out my Registeel, I guess, but he probably didn't know it was a speed tie at that point. I bring in Glade on the Keldeo, and I'm able to outspeed him, Drain Punch him once, get enough health back to live the Air Slash, and then Drain Punch again, and he has to sack off something, and it's going to end up being the Rotom Heat, so that's fine. He goes into Latias, as I bring in Blissey. That was probably a mistake. If I just click triple Axle there, I'm in a much better spot, but now he's going to be able to Calm Mind, and I'm going to Soft Boiled, and yeah, that's just a bad time. He's going to Psyshock as I Calm Mind myself, but obviously he's going to have Psyshock. Psyshock hits on the Fizdef side. It's still, he's kind of, in the chat, he was surprised that it didn't do that much at +1, but it doesn't really matter because, he can just keep Calm Minding. So here, okay, I go into Blastoise. I already say GG at this point because I think it's over. I don't even think about a potential Ice Beam Freeze, which is obviously what's going to happen here because otherwise I get swept. So I've already given up. I just click the Ice Beam, maybe get a crit, but I get a Freeze instead. I get 10% Freeze, and he's frozen solid, and yeah, that sucks. for him. Obviously, I'm going to take it. I'm going to continue Ice Beaming as he stays frozen solid. He's going to knock out my Scizor, and now it's 3-3. And I'm going to click QD with the Volcarona and hope he's not 4 attacks with Dual Wing Beat. He is Dual Wing Beat smartly, but he misses. So he takes it like a champ. He's, he's very gracious about it. But I felt bad about that because this is a tournament, and oh, by the way, there's money involved. I don't know if I ever said that. I think it's like top 3 or top 4 get in the tournament will get money. I think the prize pool was almost like $600, so that's pretty crazy. But he got 10% chance, basically situations where if he doesn't lose that like 9 out of 10, he wins. But yeah, first I got the freeze, and then he misses Dueling Beat, which is also a 10% chance to miss, which basically signals the end for him. Which I usually don't say like my bad or I'm sorry, because it's not really like I understand it's not like my fault if my opponent gets hacked, but I did really feel bad for him. I said I'm sorry for that because it's like, if someone like cares about the tournament and they want to get deep into it and they get like hacks like that, I could see someone getting really salty about that. But he didn't. Jay Sauce, I know he's in the SPS. I don't know what division though. We've probably played him a few times, and he's obviously good enough to. I mean, he should have moved on here, but instead I'm going to take the win, and I get second place in the pool, and I'm able to squeeze my way into the brackets. So, yeah, that's the end of like that stage, the pool stage, and now we move on to the bracket stage, which is, again, single elimination until top 32. So that's, like 2 rounds in? Maybe 3 rounds? Maybe it's top 16 that do double elimination. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it should be top 16, I feel like. Because top 32 would just take way too long. So yeah, I think it's like the first 3 rounds of the bracket is single elimination, and then after that it's double. But anyway, that's going to be the battle. And I will cut to the next one. Alright, here we are in the first round of brackets, going up against Sammy C. Very good battler. He brings everything but Piloswine and Lickitung. Those Piloswine and Lickitung took the backseat, I'm assuming because of Mega Gallade. But also this this group of Pokemon he's got here is very threatening, and yeah, very tough to beat. So, pretty top-heavy team, but I mean, look, that's how it's gonna be usually with only 8 Pokemon. So, yeah, he's got a very scary team here, and basically, what I remember, okay, so I got Bulk Up Mega Gallade. I have a Toxic Volcarona because I didn't want to get hazed again with the freaking Mega Altaria. I have a Taunt Gliscor, Rapid Spin, probably just Fizz Def Blastoise, best answer for Victini, pretty much. I don't know what the Excelgor is doing. Probably, I'd have to guess Throat Spray, Excelgor, and then just another just defensive ass Registeel. So let's go ahead and play. We got the Registeel coming out, and I'm gonna lead with the rocks as he has the Skarmory here. Body Press is a thing, but I'm not too concerned about it because I'm just gonna switch into Blastoise here. It actually ends up working pretty well because I can Rapid Spin as he clicks Spikes. So I'm going to do just that. Get the Spikes off the field, and then I have enough speed to Flip Turn. If he had speed there, he might be able to Giga Drain me, but I didn't expect that to come off because Registeel was obvious there. So I bring in Gliscor. It shows me, he didn't outspeed me, so it shows me he probably doesn't have much speed on this. He goes for the Toxic Spike as I knock off his Black Sludge. And now I'm going to bring in a Registeel. He gets the crit with the Giga Drain, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. He goes for the Leech Seed as I miss the T-Wave, which is beautiful for him, not for me. I go into the Gliscor as he subs, and this Roserade was an issue. It really was. So I'm able to taunt. Luckily, taunt hits through a sub, so he can't Leech Seed me as I EQ. And I break the sub. Here I expect him to switch, probably into Skarmory, but he doesn't, so I'm just kind of overplaying at this point, and this Roserade is becoming a problem. I'm going to protect here to see what he does. He's gonna Giga Drain, So I'm going to click Taunt here, hoping that he predicts a switch and clicks Leech Seed, which is what he does. It's kind of risky because if he Giga Drains there, I'm in a pretty rough spot. But yeah, now I'm just going to Earthquake. I'm not overplaying. Here he does go into Skarmory, which is a good play for him as I bring in the Blastoise. He doubles out into Greninja. Not sure what he was expecting there, but he's going to go ahead and U-turn. And that's like offensive damage right there, I believe. I think it's like, I don't know if it's banded damage, but I know I was Fizz Def, and that did a lot of damage. So I'm able to Rapid Spin there. As I get an Ice Beam off, I just want Chip on this thing, as I knew he's probably not Giga Draining there. And now I hard switch. I could have flip turned for a little more Chip, but, you know, another misplay. I'm going to go for the Toxic, as he's going to switch into Altaria. And he actually, I didn't think about this, but he actually has Natural Cure until he Mega Evolves. So he's going to double out into Greninja. I'm assuming he was expecting this Registeel. So he switches into the Greninja, and he's going to click the Low Kick and do a lot to me. But I am able to live, and I do get the pair off, so that's good. I double T-Wave. I don't know what I was expecting here. Maybe a Victini, maybe just anything, but Zeraora, and I say, damn it, this close, bruh. I'm not sure what I was expecting. Maybe I was gonna go for an Earthquake, maybe an Explosion. I don't quite remember, but Registeel is pretty much sack fodder at this point. And I had no reason not to bring Gliscor on the Zeraora, so I was like, I might as well just do that. And I knock off the Rocky Helmet, which is great. Skarmory no longer has the Rocky Helmet. I'm going to Protect on the Victini. I'm assuming he predicted the taunt there and just wanted a free switch into Victini. He goes for the Blue Flare as I sack Registeel. Now I'm thinking, okay, you got Blue Flare and Glaciate. You probably can't kill Volcarona, and I was wrong because he V-creates, which makes sense. I mean, he said he had it for Blissey, but you know it also works for Volcarona. But now I get a free switch pretty much into my Bulk Up Gallade. He's gonna Mega Evolve. I do connect with the Zen Headbutt and I knock him out, which is beautiful. He brings in Greninja to go for the Shadow Sneak, but that's not going to do any damage, and I'm just going to Drain Punch it, so that's fine. He brings in Zeraora next, and he's going to Plasma Fist. Again, hoping for no crit. I don't get a crit. I crit him. Not sure if that mattered. It could have, but I'm not sure. I'm going to Bulk Up here because I know he can't kill me with anything once I'm at +1 defense, because I already have good natural special bulk. Please don't crit me, and he doesn't. So at this point, Drain Punch will kill, but I knock out the Skarmory as he sacks off the Skarmory. And at this point, it's just GG. He doesn't have boots on this thing, obviously. He doesn't have Scarf, or I don't even know what the item on that thing was. Maybe like a Pasho Berry in case I get Shell Smashed up with the Blastoise. I'm not sure, but we're gonna be able to finish him off with that sweep at the end with Gallade. And yeah, Bulk Up Gallade coming through. I think he got all 6 kills there, yeah. So pretty cool stuff. Alright, I'm gonna head into the next battle. Alright, so this is probably one of my most impressive feats. This game was really good against SPS Beige. And yeah, it was a really fun one. So buckle up, I guess, because hold on, I gotta actually before. No, hold up. I want to find what he didn't bring here. Okay, so he did not bring Jolteon or Flygon. That's right, which makes sense. I mean, he could have brought like a Rain Dance, Weather Ball Jolteon, but he also just kind of gets stopped completely by a Blissey. So yeah, and then no Flygon, which I was kind of glad to see no Flygon because a DD Flygon could have been bad. But I do have the Sneasel there for the first time. It's a Focus Sash Sneasel, just so I can get some guaranteed damage off on something. It's also got Low Kick for Melmetal, and yeah, so that is the team. What else? We've got QD, like I said, QD Volcarona every time. A Swords Dance, Leaf Blade, Gallade, I believe, and then I think the other 3 are just the first 3 are just pretty basic. I think, but I'm not too sure. All I remember is like the late game kind of popping off. So let's get right into this. I lead with Blastoise as I'm just going to flip turn, and I see the Rocky Helmet, so this is definitely a Fizz Def Tangrowth, which is good to know. No AV there. He clicks Sleep Powder on my Blissey. I'm just going to stay in here because I'm not too... I want to kind of scout what this thing wants to do. He goes for the knockoff. I didn't want anything else knocked off. I'm glad I didn't bring in my my Gliscor there as he just power whips, and here he gets a crit, so it's gonna do 51%. But I know that's not really like reliable damage there because it was a crit, obviously. So I can just heal that off and then get the rocks up as he sleep powers again. He's gonna leech seed here. Again, I'm just staying in here. I don't want to kind of risk a knockoff by bringing in Gliscor. But I do here because I'm saying like there's actually like a 1% chance he knocks off there. As he actually switches also into Melmetal, and I'm expecting an Ice Punch, which is exactly what happens. And he shows, I believe it was the Rocky Helmet Blastoise, so he shows these protective pads there. And he also, dude, so many Rocky Helmets. He's got Slowking, Tangrowth, and then I have the Blastoise. All have Rocky Helmet. Pretty crazy. So he's got in the Mandibuzz. He's obviously Boots there, and I'm able to teleport out as the Melmetal comes in. This is a pretty obvious switch here, but I click Fire Dance just to gauge the damage. I'm assuming since he's Rocky Helmet Slowking that this is going to be a Spadef Mandibuzz, as it is by that damage that the Fire Dance did. So he's going to have Brave Bird there, which is fine because I can just soft blow that off. And then I'm going to be able to teleport into the Sneasel. Triple Axle is something he probably doesn't want to deal with. So I'm going to knock off. I knock off the protective pads, which is really good. So that now I can bring in Blastoise. Only problem is he gets an Earthquake there. So that's he doesn't get damaged there. So I'm going to Scald here, and I do notch a burn on the Tangrowth, which is really good because he's a physical Tangrowth. So it's really not going to be doing anything to Gliscor. And the residual is something to keep in mind. So he's now going to switch into Dog as I Ice Fang, just trying to get some chip on something. Maybe if Mandibuzz comes in, I don't know, maybe get a random freeze. But obviously I can't do that against the Mamoswine. I'm basically just going to sack Blastoise at this point because I don't have a better Pokemon to bring in. Now I bring in Gallade. I'm going to Mega Evolve and click Swords Dance. And this is a really good Gallade. I think it's specifically, like, I'm not max attack because at +1, I kill everything with the set I have. I have Leaf Blade, Triple Axle, and I don't quite remember, probably Close Combat. I don't think I have Drain Punch on this. But I'm going to basically barely be able to knock out the Tangrowth. And this Gliscor was also EV'd to basically deal with either special or physical Diancie. And I know he doesn't want to stay in here. Yeah, I do clear Toxic, which is pretty good because against the Diancie, like obviously I can't Toxic because of Magic Bounce, but I knew he wasn't going to stay in and take the Earthquake. So he teleports into Melmetal. I know I can't kill this Melmetal with a Seismic Toss, but I'm able to like chip it down. It doesn't have any recovery anymore, or it never did. It didn't have leftovers, so I know I can chip this thing down. And he keeps clicking Earthquake instead of Double Iron Bash, which I was surprised. I was confused by, but finally he shows it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get as much damage off as possible. He can't sub again, luckily. So that is going to be that. I bring the Sneasel and just knock off. Pretty free situation there. And here I'm going to Triple Axle because I know that I have the Focus Sash, so I can live one hit. And here I'm going to knock off. It wouldn't have killed Diancie, but I knew that the Rocky Helmet Slowking was coming in. So I just get a lot of damage off there. Thing is, I didn't even notice that I didn't knock off the Rocky Helmet there. Because if you die to a Rocky Helmet while you're knocking it off, it doesn't actually knock off the item. So that's something you got to keep in mind. And something I honestly just didn't think about. So, yeah. Well, okay, it's a little bit different than that. I didn't think about it in that I didn't even remember that I knocked it off. All I remember was the damage. So, it wasn't that I thought I knocked off the Rocky Helmet. It was that I just didn't know I clicked knock off. Like, I didn't remember later in the game. So, anyway, at this point it's looking pretty dire because, Mega Gallade is at 51%, and Mamoswine is looking like a huge threat at this point. I bring in the Volcarona on the Elvis the Slowking. I know he's probably switching into Mandibuzz, but I just need to get damage on this Mandibuzz. So I QD into the Fiery Dance. I live the Brave Bird, and I get a Flame Body Burn, but I don't have Roost or anything, so I have Giga Drain, but I don't have Roost, so I just have to do that. So here, I'm thinking, like, I'm going through all the situations, like, how do I get out of this? Is there any way I can win this? I had, like, max HP Gallade, so, or something crazy like that, and by the calcs, from the calcs, with Blastoise, it tells me I can live 2 Ice Shards, and he has to Ice Shard here. So, I bring in the Mega Gallade. As he Ice Shards, it does 24. I know that once I hit Slowking, I'm gonna take Rocky Helmet damage, and then I'll be in range of the Ice Shard later on. So I'm going to double out, expecting the Slowking. Now, if he just stays in there, I lose, but I didn't expect him to do that at all. He does go into the Slowking, and now I have to Giga Drain because it's not a guaranteed kill at this point. Because he's not fully Fizz Def. I can tell by the calcs he had a little bit of Spadef investment, but I have to Giga Drain because if I don't, Mamoswine just comes in and picks up the KO again with the Ice Shard. And then at that point, I don't know. Anyway, I had to Giga Drain to make sure I could live an Ice Shard, or at least have a chance to. But he actually doubles into Mamoswine. I guess he was expecting a Bug Buzz there, but now I basically win because I'm able to Giga Drain again, and he can't knock me out with Ice Shard. He brings in Diancie, and I bring in Glade. I can just sack anything at this point because Gliscor can come in here and click Earthquake, barring a crit. I don't get crit there. I knock out the Diancie, and I believe the Slowking comes in next. Correct. And at this point, it can't really like if it slacks off, I can just continue to Earthquake, and the Toxic's gonna rack up on him, so he can't really win at this point. I bring in Volcarona and knock him out. I get the 1-0 victory. I really thought this was a loss once Mana Buzz went down. I didn't think there's a way out of that, and then I did the calc, like, okay, I don't think I live 2 Ice Shards, but just in case, I did. And then, like, I don't know, I think that late game, like, everything had to go my way, and it did, and it's just like, yeah, this was a really good game in general. Beige played really well. Obviously, he got me into a position where I had to gamble everything at the end, and it ended up working out. Ended up going in my favor. So, yeah, we stay alive in the tournament just barely, and yeah, I'm gonna cut to the next battle now. All right, here we are with the next battle against Epic Pants and his Rain team. Let's see what he didn't bring here. I'm actually curious. Oh, there he is. He didn't bring Clefairy or Raticate, so not too surprising. Alolan Raticate, actually. So it's a pretty good Rain team. He's got the Scizor there, reducing the fire damage done on the Scizor and really the whole team in general. But he's also got Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert's a huge problem for my team. My best answer is defensive Blastoise, as is the best answer for things like Weavile and Keldeo and just a lot of things. Blastoise ends up being like my best answer for it. So yeah, he's also got a Kyurem, which could be really annoying. Gengar can do a few interesting things, like it could like sub disable or Will-O-Wisp or Trick or whatever. And obviously Politoed is Rain Setter, and Zapdos is probably his Defogger, but it might be like a defensive Scizor and then an offensive Zapdos. It does get Weather Ball, so you gotta watch out for that. But yeah, let's get right into it. Oh, also we have a Double Dance Gliscor in this game. We have Rock Polish plus Swords Dance. So this is actually interesting. Turn 1 we battled, and he forgot Drizzle on Politoed. So I just let us restart because I'm like, this is just gonna be dumb if you don't have Drizzle. If you don't have Rain, it's basically like it's already over for you. So I didn't want to do that, so we just restarted real quick, and we replayed the same interaction of turn 1 as he power punches, and I get the Stealth Rocks up. I'm bringing Blastoise here because if he does click Liquidation or Earthquake or whatever, Blastoise can soak that up pretty well. I can also Toxic it. He actually brings in Kyurem on the Toxic. He has Heavy Duty Boots, which is good to know, but yeah, that Toxic is really nice on the Kyurem. He brings in Zapdos as I bring in Blissey, which is actually really good for me. As he defogs, he shows he's also Boots Zapdos, which is fine. Now I'm going to go teleport into the Gliscor, and then I scout for the Weather Ball. He does have the Weather Ball, so that's good to know. And then I'm going to Toxic as he brings in Scizor. That's fine. And he doubles into Zapdos. I can just teleport. Like, I wasn't too worried about the thing like knocking off or anything. Maybe he shows a superpower, but I doubt it. I get the Registeel on the Zapdos, and then I'm able to Rocks, and then I go into Blastoise on the Politoed, because I was thinking maybe he power punches again, but he goes into Zapdos, and so I gotta switch into Blissey. Good play for him to defog there. And then we both switch. He goes into gang. No, I teleport. And it's a lot of like scouting and doubling from me here because I'm bringing Gliscor. I didn't want to see like an ice beam there or like a big shadow ball. So I bring in. Okay, hold on. I gotta slow down. This is going too quick. There's a lot of things going on here. So let's just go back here. Yeah, he switches into Gengar as I teleport. I didn't really know why. So I bring in Gliscor and I bring Blissey back in because whatever he wants to do to Blissey, he probably doesn't want to do to Gliscor, if that makes sense. Like, he can't really trick me at Choice Scarf because I've already got a... Well, I mean, he can, but he probably doesn't want to. So I double back into Blissey to see what he wants to go for. He ends up hexing, which is fine with me. Good prep for the Gliscor. And now I click Shadow Ball because that's the tech that I wanted for the Gengar as he clicks Wonder Room. So what Wonder Room does is it just flips every Pokemon's defense and special defense stats for 5 turns. So that includes his Pokemon as well. So, for example, right now, my Blissey, while the Wonder Room is active, it's going to have really good physical defense and really bad special defense. And Gliscor is going to have decent but not that good physical defense and pretty good special defense. So that's how that works. And again, it works for both Pokemon. So I know I had to look it up because I didn't know. So now I'm just going to switch into Gliscor because I'm expecting either Focus Blast or a Sludge Wave. I know Gliscor with that special defense stat now being more than its physical defense stat, I can take that. He brings in Scizor. An Earthquake here would do decent damage, since again, because of the Wonder Room. So I'm just going to click the Earthquake as he doubles out into Politoed. It does a decent amount, but not that much. I go into Registeel here as he brings in the Swampert. So that's a really, really bad situation for me, obviously. He's going to go ahead and sub as I bring Blastoise right in. And he's going to Earthquake as I go for the Scald. And I know he's probably not going to stay in and risk a burn as he brings in Blastoise and I miss a Toxic, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, I can just bring in Blissey here. He makes a good play here, doubling a Swampert, predicting the Blissey. But he goes for Earthquake here. I think he should have Liquidation because I don't think Blastoise takes a Liquidation plus Earthquake. And if I do, I'd be extremely low at that point. So he does end up Earthquaking, which I take much better than I would have taken a Liquidation. I get Blastoise in and I get the free Flip Turn, Rain boosted Flip Turn, might I add. He brings in the Politoed because I have the Registeel out on the Kyurem and I'm able to get Rocks back up. He Power Punches and here I reveal the Iron Defense. Because that is incredibly powerful against this team. I am Spadaf as well, so I take on this Kyurem pretty well. If he has Earth Power, it shouldn't do that much, but he gets a crit, which really sucks. Really limits my Registeel. I would have been at like 70%, 75%, something like that with the leftovers if he hadn't gotten a crit, but it is what it is. He clicks Weather Ball there as I bring in Blissey, and here he goes to the Brave Bird, which is just interesting because I mean, the V-Create on the Victini from, I believe that was the game before, it was really good because, no, maybe it wasn't the game, I don't know. We saw the V-Create from the Victini on my Volcarona. It was really good because it does a lot of damage. The Brave Bird Zapdos does, it's good for Volcarona, it's good for Blissey, but it only does a third of my health. So it's, and like he's taking almost as much as I'm taking because of the recoil. So it just doesn't really work out here. I'm able to heal up. I'm able to get the Toxic off as I was predicting the Defog there. And now I can just teleport. Like, I really don't care. Unless, do I heal here? No, I do teleport. I probably should have healed, but I just didn't expect him to click Brave Bird again like that. I go into Gliscor knowing the rain's going to stop, so I'm not too worried about... I obviously don't get hit very hard with a Weather Ball. He goes into Scizor instead of... I was expecting the Politoed there, but he goes into Scizor, which allows me to Earthquake, as 2 Bullet Punches will not knock me out, and I can definitely knock him out with 2 Earthquakes at this point. So Scizor goes down. Gengar's up next. It doesn't really matter that he misclicked there because Politoed dies to 1 Earthquake anyway. But I mean it's GG anyway because Swampert does not take this hit. I get the 6-0 on him pretty much. Yeah, and the one time I bring Double Dance Gliscor, it ends up kind of popping off. So we get the 6-0 victory here, which is awesome. And with this victory, we are now in double elimination. So that is awesome. So if I lose the next one or the next, maybe I win the next one, lose, whatever, I am in double elimination. So now I have to lose twice to get out of the tournament, which is awesome. So that's that. I'm going to cut to the next battle, and I'll see you there. Alright, here we've got a game against Sharky. He brings a pretty impressive team here. Mega Sharpedo, very fun. Tornado's annoying, and Uxie's really good for Gallade. Probably going to be a Culverberry Gallade as well. I don't know what just happened. Okay, anyway, what is it? His 2.1, he didn't bring his Gastrodon, and shucks. Where is he? Where are you, Sharky? Gastrodon and Greedent. I really wanted to see the Greedent, but we don't get to see it today, unfortunately. So, we're going to go ahead and lead off with Gliscor. I'm going to click Protect here because I don't want my Toxic Orb knocked off. I need it activated first. Boom, Toxic Orb. And then he clicks Icy Wind, which is a good tech for him. I am more of a specially defensive Gliscor because I need to deal with an Infernape. If he's a specially oriented Infernape or like just a mixed Infernape, I deal with it better if I'm special defense Gliscor. I also have Wish Blissey in this matchup, which is like the only time I brought Wish Blissey. And I have Lumberry Volcarona instead of Boots, and I have like a bulk up substitute Gallade. So and a defensive Blastoise. Probably should have gone up over that before the battle, but whatever. A few turns go by. I kind of want to scout what this Tornadus wants to do. He's got knockoff. Taunt, and Icy Wind. So I'm thinking probably no U-turn. He probably just has like, Hurricane or Air Slash or whatever, which is kind of good to know. So he clicks knockoff there, as gets rid of my leftovers, which kind of sucks. I could have just stayed in and clicked U-turn, but then again, he probably just knocks off the next turn. So when I bring in Blissey, so yeah, I'm gonna be able to Wish, get in the Blastoise, as he goes straight for the Mega Evolution, so he's not even worried about speed boost. Yeah, so I'm gonna get the Rapid Spin off because I don't want toxic spikes off on my side of the field, and he's able to get a big Thunder Punch off of me. That's a Rocky Helmet Blastoise, obviously, so another Protective Pads Metal, which is interesting. There's actually an Iron Defense Registeel, which is pretty good against this team, but I just gotta position it pretty well. I get the Stealth Rocks up as Infernape comes in, and I basically have to sack something here. I go into Gliscor to see what kind of set he is. He clicks Flare Blitz, and that is going to be an easy 2 KO. I have to bring in Blastoise here. I don't have to, but I decide to make the Blastoise sack. Because, yeah, I just feel like Gliscor is more important here at this point. So I bring in Gallade, and I click Bulk Up. So this is my plan, right? I click Bulk Up as Uxie inevitably comes in. He tries to either click the U-turn or Psyshock or Thunder Wave. I live it behind the sub because I'm +1 defense, and we're able to go from there. Did not think about foul play. I just didn't think about foul play at all. So now I got to switch into Blissey. I take a foul play, does a stunning 2% to me, and I'm able to Wish here. And here I click Toxic because I want to hit either Tornadus or Uxie, but he goes into Nihilego, which is unfortunate. This is pretty, I don't know, pretty easy play for him. I should have seen that coming because at this point T-Spikes are a given, and again, the one time I don't bring Boots Volcarona, the rocks end up staying on the field, which is very sad. I'm gonna bring in Blissey on the Tornadus. But right now it's looking pretty dire for my team here. He's gonna click Taunt as I bring in Registeel. A very good play for him because I cannot Iron Defense. All he sees so far is Stealth Rock, so he could just think I'm Stealth Rock like 3 attacks, which is still good for me, I suppose. I click Wish there, hoping that he does enough damage to where the poison will take me out, and then I can get like a free Wish in on like Volcarona, for example. But that doesn't happen because he switches into Melmetal. Doubles into Infernape, good play for him as now I have to sack something again. He brings in Infernape as the close combat goes off, not the Flare Blitz. And Gallade comes in here, and he goes into Uxie. I am going to knock off the inevitable Culverberry, which is such a sad time. And now I bring in Blissey. Which is like, Blissey's just having a bad time, man. Now, I did knock off the boots on the Tornadus, so that is good for me. But he just clicks knock off there. It's interesting. He could have clicked defog. No, because he wants the toxic. Well, no, because he already has. I mean, if he's assuming I'm... I don't know, if he's assuming I'm heavy duty boots Volcarona, he could have just clicked defog here, because he doesn't really need the rocks or the toxic spikes at this point. He's already got the Glade Poison, but I don't know. I don't know what he was planning. But yeah, so anyway, he knocks out my Blissey. I go into Registeel, and here he does not click Taunt. He clicks Knock Off as I click Iron Defense. I was really banking on him not clicking Taunt there, obviously. And now he clicks Taunt, but I'm able to body press him here. I do 28, and he Hurricanes me, does 11% to me as I body press again. I get a higher roll and knock him out. So now we are a decent looking threat to him. Obviously he has Infinite, but he's got to sack it to knock us out here, or get us low enough to revenge. He brings in Sharpedo, and he's going to Liquidation and knock out my my Registeel. So Gallade comes in here. You know, I've still got a sliver of a chance. I go for Drain Punch. We are whittling Uxie bit by bit, but we are also whittling ourselves with the hazards. So I go to Volcarona. As you see, I'm Lumberry, not Boots. Very unfortunate. He goes for the U-turn as Nihilego comes in. It didn't end up really mattering that I wasn't Boots, I guess. I mean, maybe because I knew that, I don't know, I had to play more cautiously with it, obviously. So maybe that made a difference, but I go for the Psychic because I did have the Psychic on there from the Nihilego, but it's not going to do much. He has a bulky Nihilego there, and he's going to bring in Uxie. I'm going to Drain Punch, knock it out, and here I'm just hoping he's not Aqua Jet Sharpedo. Spoiler alert, in 3, 2, oh, it's not really a spoiler anymore, right? He goes for Aqua Jet, knocks me out. So GG's to Sharky, really well played. It is a 3-0, but it could have easily been a 6-0 if he had just taunted my Registeel with the Tornadus. That would have been very bad for me. But that is how it goes. And I don't think I knock out, even if he doesn't have Aqua Jet there, I don't knock out Melmetal with the Drain Punch. Now, I don't know if he knocks me out, but with like a, you know, with whatever he has, but I'm assuming he probably does. I don't know. If he's like max HP, a Drain Punch would do like 50% to him, because I had to be Jolly for Sharpedo. So anyway, that is a loss. However, we are still in the tournament. We just can't lose again. Next time we lose, we are down. We are out of it. So that's it. We are coming back for redemption. I'm sorry, I'm just tripping over my words. I've been recording for like, I don't know, like an hour now. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna skip to the next one, and I'll see you there. All right, here we are in the next round of the SPS Open number 3, going up against Archon, which is pretty crazy because this is actually our first battle in the tournament. Wait, okay, so my cursor doesn't. Okay, it's probably better. My cursor doesn't show. Yeah, he brings the same 6. I'm assuming he's going to switch up a few things just so that it's not obvious what he's doing. I switched up a few things myself. I don't quite remember what. The biggest thing that I remember is I changed Excelgor to Throat Spray, because I was hoping, because in the last game we got Corviknight out pretty early, I mean relatively early, and if Nidoking gets chipped and Corviknight gets chipped, we kind of pop off with the Excelgor. So yeah, and we did bring Toxic on Volcarona for that annoying ass Altaria. So yeah, that's it for now. Let's go ahead and start the battle, and the music's on. Let's turn that off. Okay. He leads with the Deoxys like he did before. I lead Blastoise because I can get a Toxic off on it, and if he wants to put up Hazards, I can spin. He gets the Flame Orb popped or activated with the Milotic. Good for him. Brings in the Corviknight. I'm going to U-turn. He's going to U-turn as I bring in Blissey, and I just teleport because I'm not scared of. Well, Altaria is scared of me, so I can teleport. Get in Registeel as I get the rocks, and now I'm able to Iron Defense. So he has to kind of U-turn because he probably doesn't have Iron Defense as well. If he did, that would be really good, but he doesn't. Because like Iron Defense Body Press Corviknight's kind of annoying for my team. But Nidoking's going to come in and get up 2 layers of Toxic Spikes. I'm going to Seismic Toss for some damage. And then I'm going to probably teleport here. Yes, I do teleport. Straight into the Registeel. Because I don't want anything to get poisoned at this point. So I'm going to Iron Defense. I brought Gliscor. Or I brought Registeel this time instead of Gliscor. So that's something to keep in mind. He gets the Scald crit, but no burn. Which is awesome. Now I'm at +2, and he shows the Haze himself. So now he's got Haze Milotic, which is just so, it's such a, yeah. So potentially also Haze Altaria, but at the least we know the Haze Milotic is there. So gotta keep that in mind. Blastoise comes in as he's gonna recover. I'm gonna be able to get the Rapid Spin off. And now he's got the Rocky Helmet. Good to know. He brought Rocky Helmet last time as well. No reason to Flip Turn here because, well, I just don't want to take unnecessary damage. He defogs, pretty obvious play. I get the Volcarona in, and I'm going to be able to Quiver Dance here. As he Mega Evolves, I land the Toxic, and he actually Toxics me. So we can see he changed up his Altaria a little bit. I'm going to Fiery Dance, and he also has the Haze. So Roost, Toxic, okay, I'm assuming he has Roost. Yeah, there it is. Roost, Haze, Toxic, and Hyper Voice, I'm assuming. Blissey's pretty free in that sense, so I'm going to teleport here, and he has the Deoxysyn, so I'm going to bring out Volcarona again, and here I'm going to QD on his, oh yeah, I expected him to switch, but he doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and Yawn. I go for the Bug Buzz, it does a shit ton, and the Toxic is wearing down on me. I'm just going to stay in and do as much damage as I possibly can at this point. I die next turn. I know he's going to Roost, but I mean, at least we can chip this thing down a little bit. So, yeah, Altaria is now at 54%, and Milotic is whittled. So if we keep Milotic down, we should be in a good spot. I really thought he'd switch to Corviknight here, but he doesn't. He clicks Hyper Voice, and that really sucks. We are able to live it, and we can close combat here because I killed an Altaria there at that point, and if Corviknight comes in, I die to the Rocky Helmet. So it's a double down for us. So Corviknight's down, which is decent, but we've already lost 2 of our main sweepers. I'm going to bring a Selgor on the predicted recover there. Very sad. What did I expect there? Maybe Weavile. I didn't want Weavile to come in there, so I had Registeel in. Or Altaria, because I didn't want Altaria to be able to Roost. So I bring an Excelgor on the predicted recover there from the Milotic. And now I'm going to click Giga Drain. I don't want to pop the Bug Buzz, the Throat Spray yet, because I don't, okay, hold on. I gotta talk about this. I didn't want to pop the Giga Drain, or the Bug Buzz Throat Spray set, because he's still got 2 Hazers, and the Milotic will definitely be able to live a +1 Giga Drain at that range. And once he hazes, he can then just recover. So that's an issue. So I want to make sure I keep that opportunity. I Giga Drain, and it does 35. That's a really high roll. I was hoping to knock him out, but I get a lower roll. And I was expecting to die to a Sludge Wave here, but he clicks Earth Power. So maybe he just doesn't have Sludge Wave. I don't know. Probably he definitely has Ice Beam. But you know, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. He clicks Sludge Wave, knocks out I click Sludge Wave to knock out his Altaria. Again, I'm gonna Giga Drain here because I don't want to Bug Buzz and then him haze me. And I'm not really afraid of this thing. It can Toxic me, obviously, but here I do click Bug Buzz because if he recovers, I can still knock him out with 2 Giga Drains. So, and I knew I was on the timer now with the Toxic, so I click Bug Buzz here as he brings in Deoxys. I get the Unburden boost, and now I can just Bug Buzz. And I didn't want to risk the Giga Drain because if I don't kill him there, he can Seismic Toss, and that's a big problem if he's able to do some damage to my Excelgor there. So I couldn't risk the Giga Drain because at this point, if he is Boots, like Jolly Boots, I live an Ice Shard. So he shows that he's not even an Ice Shard at all because he brings in Milotic. I'm going to knock it out, and now I win. So that is a GG. We ended up getting our revenge here. Okay, now my cursor shows, so I don't know. We got our revenge here with against Archon. Very well played for him. That core was really tough to beat, but I just played with the Excelgor. I just made the right plays, I guess. So kind of, obviously a little lucky with that, but yeah, I think he was really well prepared for my offensive threats. but I ended up, yeah, it was a pretty stally ass team, to be honest. 'Cause he had the Corv Knight, DOD, uh, Flamewar Milotic, and like a stally Altaria, which is, his prerogative. It's just, it was hard to break. So, and then like a T Spikes Nidoking. So, yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be that, and let's head into our next battle. All right, here we are with the next battle, going up against OP Jellicent. He's in the SPS. Again, I'm pretty sure Lugia division, but I mean, he's obviously really good battler to be this far um, in the tournament, right? He did not bring Glaceon or Toxtricity. I was kind of expecting Toxtricity, but he didn't bring it. I think his team just has a phenomenal matchup against me. Keldeo plus Spectre is really good in general, but I mean, I've already said so far in this tournament, Keldeo is really good against me, and Spectre is annoying because my best answer is like a Blissey, and yeah, he can definitely take advantage of that. Relic Song, Meloetta is a problem because he can click Relic Song, and then he's physical, and then he can hit things. He can triple axle Gliscor, for example. Look, Throat Spray Toxtricity definitely could have been really bad for me. He could have brought that Shift Gear, get the Throat Spray boost, and then you can Drain Punch. It gets that with the +1 attack. It can also, Boom Burst with the Overdrive ability to hit Gliscor really hard. So I think Toxtricity had a great matchup here. He just didn't end up bringing it. Unaware Clefable is really good because Mega Gallade and Volcarona are huge setup threats. So yeah, and the Celesteal in general is just a big threat. So, or just annoying really. So I'm gonna lead with. Oh, I'm also, by the way, banded Sneasel just so that I can have some immediate offense and not have to rely on setup stuff. I'm in SD Gallade this time. So yeah, he leads Donphan as I just go for Flip Turn. I am negative speed with no IVs in speed, so I was hoping I would Donphan would outspeed me there, but he doesn't. And then I teleport as he Earthquakes my Blissey. I'm gonna get the Rapid Spin off. He's gonna end up rocking here, so basically what he wants to do here is die to Toxic as he's getting the Stealth Rocks up since I outspeed. But here he reveals the Cuss Tap Berry, which he actually said he forgot about. And I did want to kind of Rapid Spin, but I also wanted a Flip Turn here. Because I knew inevitably the rocks would stay on the field. I could Flip Turn and get in Registeel, which has a decent matchup against everything here. Whereas a weakened Blastoise I didn't really want on the field. But if I had clicked Rapid Spin there, because of the Cuss Tap Berry, I actually would have had the rocks off the field. So that's very sad. I mean, it's hard to really expect a Cuss Tap Berry though. But oh well. He goes into Spectrier on my Registeel. I was fearing a Will-O-Wisp. I thought that was possible since I have a Mega Gallade and a Sneasel, and he could try to Willow my Registeel. But he's actually just a sub CM, and I do have a Shadow Ball, but it's not going to be enough to break this sub. He's boosting his special defense. He's just going to be able to keep subbing unless I get like 15 crits. It's really tough for me. So he's going to Calm Mind one more time. He Uproars here, which is, he could have had Dark Pulse, but he Uproars instead. The sub is going to break, and I'm going to click Toxic here and miss. So, that is really sad, and I could have stalled him out with Soft Bullet, I guess, but he could have continued to Uproar, and I think, does Uproar do more damage? I don't really know. I don't know if it does more damage as time goes on, but he was locked into that, and I missed a Toxic, and at this point I bring in Registeel, and I die, so I just quit. Here's the situation. I came in with a shit mindset in this game because I felt like I had a bad matchup. So I came in thinking, this is just really rough for me. And once I saw the Calm Mind Spectrier, I kind of admitted defeat. And then I went for Toxic, and I missed, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin. I don't think I win if I land that Toxic. I still have to sack off a few things. I need to connect an Ice Shard with the Sneasel, and then probably a Shadow Sneak with the Gallade. I probably sack at least Registeel and Sneasel to get in that position. Probably Blastoise too to get some more Toxic because he had the leftovers recovery. And then I'm down to Gallade and Volcarona, and that's just not a winning recipe. So, I think I lose anyway. But I definitely probably could have stalled out those uproars. Of course, he had as many uproars as I did soft boils, so I would have had no healing on my Blissey after that if he decided to do that, because it was doing about half. So, um, yeah, which, I mean, it is what it is. He probably would have switched eventually, um, but yeah, I should have played that a little smarter. Obviously, I played terribly around the Donphan, and yeah, I could definitely went in with a defeatist attitude, and that's what you're gonna get. I mean, you gotta stay patient and really weigh your options turn by turn, and I really didn't do that here. So, GG's to Jelly. We made top 12. Look, that's where we're at. I mean, if you made it to this far in the video and you want to know, top 12 is what we got. And if we win this, I think it's either top 8 or top. No, I think it is top 8, or like maybe top 9 because 6 people are in the losers bracket. I don't know. Whatever. Um, Either way, yeah, it was definitely a bad way to end the tournament, ending it this way. But it is what it is. We had some great battles. We had some really, really good wins, some really bad losses. But at the end of the day, we made it this far. We shouldn't have even made it this far. We should have been out by the pools. We got an Ice Beam freeze followed by a Dual Wing Beat miss by the opponent. If either of those things don't happen, we're not here. Like, what, 6 games later. So, we got lucky, and I took it as far as I could, and that's the end of it. This is where it ends. So if you made it this far, thank you very much. Hit that like button, comment anything you want to see on the channel. I'll do anything, really. I'll do anything video game related, and yeah, that is going to be that. So thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time. I usually upload a different league called the SDL every weekend, and there should be another league starting up in early September called the BBDL that I actually won last season, so we'll see if I'll end up uploading that. But yeah, if you like what you see, please subscribe. It's free, it's easy, and you get notified, all that stuff. Okay, I'm tired of talking, so I will see you guys in the next video.